Well, good evening, everybody. We're going to give our registered attendees just another minute or two to log in here, and we look forward to starting our presentation shortly. Thanks very much. Well, good evening, everyone, and welcome to the University of San Diego's Master of Law Enforcement and Public Safety Leadership online open house. We appreciate your time and interest very much. During the next 20 to 30 minutes, we'll talk through the structure of the program, answer substantive and logistical questions, and hopefully have a good interactive exchange. So welcome.
All right. Good evening, future USD students. My name is Nicole Sampson. I'm an enrollment advisor here. So during this presentation, I'll be giving you some more details about the admissions process and admissions procedure, while the gentleman you just heard, his name is Dr. Eric Fritzfold. He's the academic director for our MS in Law Enforcement and Public Safety Leadership program. He's also the associate professor of the Department of Sociology in the Law, Crime, and Justice concentrations. All right, so to tell you a little bit more about the University of San Diego, it is a Catholic institution founded more than 65 years ago. It was selected as a designated Ashoka Changemaker campus. And
all right, I think we're having some technical difficulties with Nicole's audio.
Hi, Eric.
Hi, Nicole.
There?
Welcome back. I'm going to let you pick it up right here.
All right, perfect. Sorry about that, everyone. Not sure what happened there, but anyways, as I was saying, we were selected as a designated Ashoka Changemaker campus, and the campus actually features a veteran center, a writing center, and just for our online students, just so you know that although you're an online student, you do have the same access to the actual campus as our ground students do. So if you're ever in the area or on campus, if you need to use the library or the computer lab, anything like that, you do have access to everything just like our ground students. All right, and in terms of accreditation, we are regionally accredited by the Western Association of Schools and Colleges, also known as WASC, which is the accreditor for USD and its academic programs, which is all under the U.S. Department of Education. We're also ranked as a top 100 national university by U.S. News and World Report, and we do have an official endorsement from the Deputy Sheriff's Association of San Diego County.
I'm going to talk you through the structure of our curriculum here a little bit. Our goal in designing this program was to make it as flexible and accessible as possible for working professionals who are working towards career advancement. So to put that idea into practice, our entire program is 31 academic credits. There are 10 3-unit courses and then a 1-unit capstone course that appropriately is a substantive culmination of your experience here in the program. So every course is 7 weeks long. So in a given semester, you're going to take 2 back-to-back 7-week courses and then have a brief break before starting the next semester. So in total, that means the University of San Diego Master's of Science degree takes you 20 months, so under 2 years. So it's a condensed and challenging and rigorous curriculum, but it's one that's designed with this structure to serve folks who have demanding and often unpredictable day jobs. And the online format makes it flexible, especially as obviously crime is unpredictable. Overtime might be unpredictable. We want to make sure that we're serving those who serve our communities. So a bit of background. It was a humbling experience, and I'm really proud of our administrative team for deliberately, slowly, and very carefully designing this program. We spent almost 2.5 years of in-person interviews and nationwide surveys of a variety of law enforcement professionals before we put our curriculum together. So we felt that historically academic institutions have probably underserved the law enforcement community in particular. And we didn't want to sit back in our academic institution and decide what kind of master's degree program we should put together. We went and essentially took meetings with anybody in the region who was willing to donate their time and their expertise. And we walked in the door with a total blank slate and asked how we as a university could create an online master's degree program to serve law enforcement professionals, not in the year 2000, but in the year 2016. And there are many traditional criminal justice programs out there from very reputable places, but we were told time and time again that a traditional criminal justice degree doesn't provide the cutting edge skills that modern law enforcement professionals need today. That traditional criminal justice programs are essentially too abstract, too theoretical, and as an academic myself, I can frankly say too academic. So clearly the master's degree on paper can help you regardless of the type of degree, but ours was specifically designed in reaction to the input we got from nearly 45 interviewees over two and a half years. And they told us clearly, consistently, and loudly that not only was criminal justice curriculum dated and not particularly useful, right? Many in law enforcement have a criminal justice degree just by virtue of doing the job that they do, but didn't provide those immediate actionable skills, those leadership skills for law enforcement in particular, those management and budget and administration and human resources issues, not in the abstract, but designed for law enforcement practitioners and law enforcement leaders in particular. So our budget and finance course isn't an abstract economics course, but it's designed specifically for folks in law enforcement who we were told time and time again are quickly promoted to leadership positions because they're excelling at their current job, but might not have the time to be thoroughly and extensively trained on the leadership skills and the actionable practical skills that we specifically designed our program to speak to. So again, I thank the Professional and Continuing Education School for taking such a slow and deliberate approach. And it was very informative and very helpful to be able to get out in our community and meet law enforcement leaders from a variety of agencies to give us some really good guidance. And so, based again on these interviews and nationwide surveys, this isn't a traditional academic program. Based on what we heard, academics alone couldn't deliver the type of cutting edge content. And frankly, there's no program like it in the country that has this innovative contemporary model. So we had to go out and look for academic practitioners with particular skills and particular experiences to deliver this unique content. There are no textbooks that put together the curriculum that we do. They just don't exist. Textbooks are too outdated, and they're not on the cutting edge of issues like body cameras or law enforcement use of drones or current Fourth Amendment issues. There just are no textbooks for that. So we have to rely on these expert academic practitioners. So we have 3 examples here. I'll talk through each one. Dr. Adolfo Gonzalez has a PhD in leadership from right here at the University of San Diego. He was former chief of police for National City. And during his tenure as chief of police, and National City historically has a higher crime rate than most cities within San Diego County, sometimes dramatically higher. And during his tenure as chief of police, they didn't have a gang-related homicide for 18 months, which was in part a reaction to many innovative community policing models that Dr. Gonzalez not only spearheaded, but then tweaked and managed as he went forward. Simultaneously, complaints from community groups decreased dramatically, and actually he's been honored by the vast majority of community groups that have sometimes been historically critical of law enforcement in National City. So both violent crime and property crime went down, gang-related homicides went down, and also citizen satisfaction by these measures went up dramatically. So if we're talking about issues that happen in Baltimore or Ferguson or police community relations, our academic practitioners, and Adolfo Gonzalez in particular, has this unique lived experience and an advanced degree, and therefore he teaches our community engagement course on police community relations, and I can't think of anybody better in the country to deliver that content. The next academic practitioner pictured on the screen is Dr. Wendy Patrick. She has both a master's degree and a PhD from Oxford. And she's also a very successful deputy district attorney right here in San Diego County, and has been prosecuting virtually every type of case for several decades. She teaches our Communications for Law Enforcement Leaders course. Again, this is another class for which there is no textbook and there's no blueprint. This is truly cutting edge, and we're designing it from scratch. And Dr. Patrick has created a communications course that focuses on the types of things law enforcement leaders are going to be asked to do in their current profession. So students will hold a mock press conference. So they're not writing abstract academic papers. They're using the webcam on their computer to create a mock press conference in response to a tragic issue. And then peers in the class get to highlight the strengths of the presentation, what could have been done better, ask follow-up questions. She builds from real-life case studies like the Sandy Hook tragedy and critically examines what those law enforcement folks, from her perspective, did well, maybe could have been improved, grounded in this cutting-edge curriculum. So she has a pretty successful media career, in addition to being a successful district attorney, in addition to having both a master's degree and a PhD, and therefore she's just the type of person we have the pleasure of introducing to you as future students in the program. And lastly, actually teaching our public safety law course right now is Michael Begovich. He's a public defender with, I think, 140 trials under his belt, many to verdict, including homicides. And so why Michael Begovich? Because once again, he has this unique set of experiences and trainings that position him for this cutting edge program. So Michael Begovich was involved in some of the cases that set precedents for how the Fourth Amendment does and does not apply to cell phone technology. Many experts believe that it's going to be these precedents that are going to guide how body camera footage is released to the public, or what the Fourth Amendment guidelines are for the use of body cameras and how it can be used in discovery or not. Michael Begovich's position is, as a public defender, these are the legal tools I'm going to use to get your evidence thrown out. And so he's having a very honest and transparent discussion, not only about cell phone technology, not only about body camera technology, but grounded in the case law related to right to privacy. How is that going to impact law enforcement drones? And I get to oversee this course right now. And the most exciting thing is that the assignments that cap off every week of material have no correct or incorrect answers. He presents a set of hypothetical facts related to that week's material about a certain crime or a law enforcement drone that captured this video footage, and asks you to make an argument whether that's admissible or not admissible. Did it adhere to Fourth Amendment guidelines or not? There are no correct answers because these issues are emerging right now. And again, Professor Begovich has this unique lived experience in his profession to bring to the table. And that's why we're honored to have him as part of our program.
All right, so to provide you with a little more insight into how this program works specifically, so it is 100% online. It is available 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, wherever you have internet access. It's also incredibly flexible. It's an asynchronous learning environment, so essentially there are no preset times or days that you have to log into classes. As long as you're completing your assignments by the deadlines, then you're on a great track. So, for example, everyone works, has families, extracurricular activities. If you have an incredibly hectic Tuesday and you can't log into classes, that's just fine. You're the one that actually gets to dictate your study schedule. But again, you do want to make sure that you're adhering to the deadlines set forth in your syllabus and by your professor, and as long as you're doing that, then you're on the right track. Typically, students can expect to spend about an average of 15 hours a week working on their program. Now, That's not to say that some students might spend a little more time or some students might spend a little less. It really just depends on your study habits. And just like how our ground campus students get to interact with other students, we want to make sure to provide you with that same convenience in our online program. So once you're in your class, you will have access to a discussion board, and in fact, some of your classes and professors may have you post discussion board postings a couple times a week where you actually get to collaborate with fellow students as well.
And Nicole, if you don't mind me jumping in right there with an anecdote.
Go for it.
We have some students who work in corrections. And it's interesting to log into the Blackboard interface, and you see them submitting assignments at 3:30 or 4 o'clock in the morning. And they describe that their time management system, that when they have downtime in their job, especially when they work the late night shifts at the local jail in particular, that's an opportunity for them to not only do their job well, but also be able to, when they have a free moment, log into the system, do a few discussion board posts, do some readings, watch a narrated PowerPoint. And we hear many of our students balance family life, they have demanding careers, and they're able to be successful in our program. So that's a part of our service and the adaptability that I'm really proud of. And back to you, Nicole.
Great, we can go ahead and move on to the next slide, which is our admissions requirements. So first things first, we do want to make sure if you're applying to this program that you have a conferred bachelor's degree from a regionally accredited institution. Part of that is in order to maintain our WASC accreditation, which we talked about earlier. And also along with the regionally accredited bachelor's degree, we want to make sure that you have at least a 2.75 GPA. Now, if you have below a 2.75 GPA, but above a 2.5 GPA, what we can do is we can actually submit a few of your documents for what's called a gray area review. In the gray area review, you'll also write a substantive essay explaining why you feel that you'd be a good candidate for this program. And either upon acceptance of the gray area review for you to move forward with the admissions process, or if you do have that 2.75 GPA or higher, you'll go ahead and complete the remainder of your admissions application. And the admissions application is actually very simple, very comprehensive, and once you do get to the point of speaking with an admissions advisor, either myself or Allison Rogers, we can actually walk you through the application if you need help. But to give you an overall idea, what you'll do is you'll log on to the application, and we'll send you the links for it, and you'll complete your general information. You'll address which program specific that you're looking into, in this case the law enforcement and public leadership program, and then you'll upload a copy of your resume. You'll also need a letter of support. Now, if you have a letter of support from your supervisor, that's perfect. You only need one. If it's not from a supervisor, you will need 2 letters of support from your coworkers. Now, one of the pieces of advice that I give students enrolling in this program is once you get to the application, one of the first things you should do is enter the information for your recommender. So you're going to enter their first and last name, phone number, and email address. Once you save that to your application, it's actually going to shoot them an email to complete a survey on your behalf. Now that survey is actually pretty simple. Probably take them about 10 minutes to complete, and then they can also upload their letter of recommendation along with the survey. And excuse me, I suggest that students do that first because that's one of the pieces of the application that's out of your control. So the more time you can give a recommender to complete it, the better. And then you'll also upload a statement of purpose, which is going to be a minimum of about 300 words. And then along with that, we will need to order your official transcripts from all of your schools. So let's say you went to 3 community colleges and then transferred those credits over to a university. We'll actually have to order official transcripts for all 4 institutions that you've attended. Again, that's in order to maintain our WASC accreditation. And when you do get to ordering your official transcripts, I can actually help you through that process and see if I can make it a little bit more simple for you.
We get consistent feedback from our students that the support that our frontline team offers really makes the application process pretty seamless. And Nicole, I guess I get to thank you directly for that.
Thanks. All right. So moving on to tuition and financial aid. So everyone that's logged in to this open house will receive the fee waiver. So it's typically a $45 application fee, but you'll actually have that waived. Now, with this program, it's 31 credit hours. It's $699 per credit, which roughly brings the total tuition price to about $21,000. Now, if you're a law enforcement and public safety association, or a union member in the military, a veteran, or military spouse, you can actually receive a reduced tuition of $619 per credit hour, which gives you a saving of about $2,480. So it brings that overall ticket price of $21,000 down to about $19,000. Also, we are part of the Yellow Ribbon program, so if any military personnel out there has questions, feel free to give me a call, and we can talk to financial aid in the military department and make sure everything gets set up there. But if you are looking to use federal financial aid, I can send you an email of how to complete your FAFSA, which is the free application for federal student aid, to see what kind of government assistance you qualify for. Typically, students at the master's level could receive up to $20,500 per academic year to help with their program. Again, that would be in student loans, but you don't necessarily know what you qualify for until you complete the application. As you can see here, highlighted in light blue is our federal school code, which you will enter into the FAFSA, 010395.
And if you don't mind me jumping in on you again here, Nicole,
Yeah.
I was very concerned in the first iterations of this program. University of San Diego is an elite private institution, and it has an elite private institution price tag. To put our program in context a little bit, the undergraduate tuition with room and board is about $64,000 per year per student. So that puts the bachelor's degree room and board price at about $250,000. When I was first discussing this program with the professional and continuing education administrative team, I was very concerned that we were going to adopt some of these undergraduate tuition kind of benchmarks. And frankly, if our duty as an institution dedicated to social justice is to provide a service to those who serve our community and genuinely support their career development, we had to be able to put this program into practice without crippling our students with a massive price tag. So at an institution like University of San Diego, I'm tremendously proud to be able to offer our rigorous, frankly, this is becoming a flagship program for our university, but maintains an access and affordability that I'm, again, really proud of.
Great, thanks, Eric. And also for those of you that are looking to pay cash, or maybe you have tuition assistance or tuition reimbursement through your organization, USD also offers a flexible payment plan, so we can talk to student billing and make sure to get you set up with that as well. All right, so kind of a recap here in terms of the admissions process. The first thing you're going to do is speak to an enrollment advisor like myself, or our other advisor is Allison Rogers, so you'll be working with one of us. And then you'll complete the online application, which we just went over. You'll submit all of your required documentation, like your essay and official transcripts. Now, keep in mind that official transcripts can take anywhere from 3 to 6 weeks for them to come in. So if this is something that you want to do, it is important to jump on it as soon as possible and make sure that we order your official transcripts. That way they can come in as soon as possible. Once all official transcripts and all documents are on file, then your applications packet will be reviewed by our admissions committee. Now, it typically takes about 2 weeks for you to hear back on that final admissions decision. If you are looking to apply for our summer 2016 term, the application deadline will be April 11th. So again, if this is something you're serious about, and of course something that you're excited about, you want to make sure to get started as soon as possible. Classes will start May 17th, 2016, and once you're admitted into the program, you will have to complete an online orientation before your first class actually starts. Now, in the online orientation, it'll take you about 4 hours to complete. So there's 4 modules, and each module is 1 hour. And that's basically to get you comfortable and familiar with how the classroom's set up before actually starting your first class again on May 17th. All right, and then we also have an enrollment incentive. So for those of you who fully enroll by February 29th, 2016, and once you complete your first class in your first semester with an A or B and then start your next semester, you will receive an iPad mini. So again, that's just an early enrollment incentive that any of you can take advantage of, and you do have plenty of time. We're not quite yet into February, so you still have time to get your transcripts ordered, and like I said, I can walk you through all that when the time comes.
Well, that's great, Nicole. Before we open it up to questions, I wanted to reiterate one of the other unique features about the education approach that we adopted in this program, that we have the good fortune of having law enforcement leaders of various ranks from virtually all the regional agencies and then also spread across the country. So especially dealing with students with this level of experience or just transitioning into a new career, we believe that a top-down kind of professor-centric approach to education is probably inappropriate. I would argue potentially the most valuable thing about our program is students engaged in dialogue through the material of a given week, through the lens of that material, and critically engaging a cutting-edge issue together. So it is such a rich experience to be engaging topics where there is no established policy and procedure manual, where these things are evolving and every week something new is happening nationwide, to get the perspective of a police chief in Florida that's enrolled in our program, from someone who's less than a year on the job working patrol here in San Diego County, or just new into the jail system, or a border patrol agent with 20 years experience. We have virtually every rank, again, including chiefs, lieutenants, and captains, well represented in our program. And to hear the different procedures in different states and in different agencies, I would argue can better inform the nation, and all these folks can take this information back to their respective agencies. And as a professor and as someone overseeing the program, that's probably the most exciting thing for me. Anything you'd like to add here at the end, Nicole?
No, I think you covered everything very thoroughly. Thanks, Eric.
Thank you. And if anyone has any follow-up questions, you can see all the contact information there on the screen. We appreciate your time very much, and we hope to see you in our classes down the road. Thanks very much.